When I looked at her, I remembered that. Yes, I have to turn this over to her. And now just a couple of words before I think we break to eat. Let me just say that, and I'll have some final concluding thoughts at the end, that I have enjoyed being your dean here. This is now my 6th year. I'm old news, old hat. I kind of know where everything is about right now. And I have enjoyed it immensely. I've enjoyed getting to know many of you, and most of you, and I'm still meeting new people all the time. And I say now what I said when I came in here on the first day, that this is a marvelous institution. It has potential that is absolutely limitless and untapped. We've only begun to do what we will do. And it is because of you that we're able to do what we have done and what we will do. And I'm including in that the trailblazers who have plowed the course before us. So I thank you again on behalf of everyone for being here this evening. And I believe at this point, do we have someone coming, or can we just tell them to go eat? Okay. I believe it's time to eat. And so we'll start with the honorees. There's a buffet table in the other room. And so with the honorees, please stand, and we'll follow. And I'll let somebody who really knows what's going on come up and give the rest of the directions. Thank you for being here.
As Terry Tempest Williams said, who is an environmentalist, some of you may know her, the eyes of the future are looking back at us and praying for us to see beyond our own time. So my post-law school career has been dedicated to seeing beyond my time. It's certainly not about now, because when you do policy and advocacy, you may not see it in your lifetime. But you lay the groundwork so that change can happen. My work has been to advocate toward eliminating racial discriminations and discrimination and gender inequities. I knew from the beginning that the change I wanted to see would not be easy and would not happen quickly. And that is the truth. So I've been doing this role, the work at the Commission for Women for more than 21 years.
My favorite moments, my favorite times about my experience here at Widener was to become the president of BLSA, because I felt there was a certain level of significance with that. Because there's so many people that came before us and came before me at Widener, particularly through BLSA, that it was I almost felt duty bound to be a part of it, and to maybe someday lead it, and to maybe someday do as well as they did when they were in BLSA, and when they were the president or the vice president or the treasurer, etc. of BLSA. Being a part of BLSA really taught me a lot here, because it exposed me to the entire wider community, as Damien mentioned. And it's not about the individual self. It's about being a part of something greater than yourselves. And so if I was to leave you with some advice or something I think would be helpful, or some sort of nugget, what I'll say is that BLSA really taught me that the profession, the entire profession, belongs to me. Because when I got to law school, I didn't have a lot of friends that were attorneys. Particularly, I didn't have a lot of African-American friends that were attorneys. And so I was a little bit nervous when I got here. And I was scared about the opportunity. And I was questioning whether I could succeed. But becoming a part of BLSA, which allowed me to become more engaged with the wider community, really showed me that this whole legal profession belonged to me. And the way I'll illustrate that is with a story about my own career, and hopefully it drives the point home. Excuse me. The only job I've ever had is at Coase & O'Connor. I started out as a summer associate, my 2L year. And I remember I was as nervous my first day there as I was my first day of law school. And if you all can remember your first day of law school, you know how that feels. You know, you feel a little bit of indecision, a little bit of worry, a little bit of concern. And so I had a little bit of a moment before I started at the firm as a 2L in that summer program. And I remember I was a little nervous because I thought, wow, you know, Widener, am I good enough? Am learning this? Am I doing the right thing? Have I studied enough? Have I worked hard enough? And I remember the first day I was at the firm, and we would have to go around the room like most orientations are. And you got to tell everybody your name, and where you're from, and where you go to law school. And I'm the last person to go. And they're going around the room. And one person says, I go to Harvard. And this other person says, I go to Georgetown. And this other person says, I go to Penn. And they keep going around the room. And it was a moment, it just, I don't know what it was, it just hit me before they got to me. And I started to smile. Because I said, you know what, I go to Widener. And I'm sitting here with all of you. And I'm not only just as good as all of you, but I know I'm better than all of you. And so I'm the first one of that class to make partner at my firm. I'm the first one of that class to chair a committee at my firm. And so I'm proud of that, because it wasn't me that did it. It was Widener that did that. And so I'm telling all of the students here, remember that story. Remember your moment. Remember your Widener moment.
I was a graduate student at the University of Delaware working on a master's in public administration. And I decided to drop a course, and a professor had an attitude with me that had some racial overtones to it that made me say, well, if I got to put up with this to get a graduate degree, let me go to law school. So that was in September. By January, I was in the spring admit program here. So that's how I got to law school. Because I said, the next time anybody ever disrespects me in that way, I'm going to know what to do, because I never knew anything about law in my whole life. When I got here, my life was changed by this book. That was a new book that was on the bookshelf, and it was called The NAACP Legal Strategy Against Segregated Education, 1925 to 1950. Now, Robert Carter has written a law review article where he has some concerns about some aspects of this book. I have to say that in academic honesty. My point is, what this book taught me, it supplemented my law school education. And it instilled in me that these brothers, Houston, Reddy, Marshall, they strategized as to how to use the law to bring about social change. That changed my whole purpose in being here. On law office separate from that, but I worked with the NAACP. So I'm going to give you a little quick story connecting this to the students, because my life has been devoted to making opportunities for the people who come behind me, because I got to drink from the cup. I was born in '59, so I'm in the first generation of people who had real opportunity, and I drink from the cup, and I've helped refill the cup. So being involved in this kind of thing allows you to have an involvement in national activity when you're involved in local activity. So the state and national NAACP was involved in keeping the April 1994 nomination on the radar screen, and he's now a federal district court judge, and now he's the chief judge. So the point I want to make in this is, as a student here, just because the school bought a book and put it on the shelf, it changed my whole purpose in being in law school from a me purpose to a us purpose. And these people who, they're the historical figures. I never really viewed myself as a historical figure. When I got this letter, I'm like, got the right person? I was involved in helping to make opportunities. I wasn't the guy who received the opportunity. So history usually calls on the recipients of the opportunity. So I appreciate you all contacting me for helping to create opportunities for others, because people had helped make opportunities for me. So I drank from the cup, filled back in. Thank you for your time.